Hello YouTube pipe community, OTC Piper coming to you with the third installment of my BlendShare for the first BlendShare of 2020. And this one is going to be heavy English that was recommended by Piping and Camping. If you haven't yet, I recommend going to his page, check him out, and give him a sub. He's got a very pipe based but varied in its own way channel. Very interesting stuff. I think you'll enjoy it. But he took advantage of the BlendShare that I started at the beginning of this year, and we'll be doing more as the year goes on. And I've heard from most of the suppliers out there, the online suppliers, and it seems to be business as usual for them as far as getting their stuff out now. I know everyone's kind of sheltered in place for the most part, and part of the reason why I'm out here doing this video today, I was coming home from work and it was just such a beautiful day, I just couldn't waste it. And I got to the park here. This is a park nearby where I live, and I was just so glad to see so many people out there enjoying this day and not letting something like the unfortunate circumstances we're having to face right now get the best of them. And they're out here just getting away from just regular life, and I knew if I would have went inside, it would have just been the regular stuff, TV, for a little while, house, chores and things like that, which still need to be done. I know that that's still needs to be done, but a day like today, I just had to get out here and be amongst the people that are also enjoying today. So I pulled up some real estate right here by this tree trunk in kind of a grove area, away from the, a little bit away from the heavy traffic, so passersby wouldn't feel uneasy about walking onto the camera or being put out there on YouTube. So you might see some people walk behind me. It's about the best place I could find, but there's a concrete sidewalk around parts of it over here that I'm looking at. Behind me there's kind of a rough trail. A lot of people walk their dogs or ride their bikes on, and it really makes me glad that spring is here. So anyways, enough about that. Let me get this pipe packed up and look into this blend a little bit. Definitely a strong presence of the latakia, as the name would suggest. However, when I first received it in, I was expecting a little bit more of a latakia hit, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We still got to light it up and see how that goes. But the reason why I like this one for this kind of season right now is it's definitely not the boldest of all the latakias that I have tried and enjoyed. For me, latakia, I like that during the colder winter months. That's kind of when I go to that more often. I start to get into some of the Virginias and Burleys and stuff like that during when it warms up into spring and into summer. But this one is kind of it's lighter than some of the ones that I frequently go to. Definitely stronger than some that are out there, but it's not too overbearing, and I think it'll fit this nice spring weather very well. So I'm going to get this packed up, and we're going to get into this blend a little bit. Drawing light going here. I did not bring my matches today because it's a little bit breezy out. Before you get too far, I'll just talk about my pipe. I picked up this Rossi poker at this at the brick and mortar shop that I go to. You've heard me talk a lot about them, Tobacco Cabana. And I talk about them a lot. I've been going in there for years. Oh, been going into them for years. They're great people, and in my area, there just isn't any other place like that in reasonable driving distance that has you know, fine tobaccos, in a nice lounge, just the ability to just kind of, you know, even sit out in the front area and pipe and just enjoy the company of the people that come in. So I'll go there a lot. I did some, my last video was there with Bob, one of the employees that's definitely made a name for himself locally as far as blending is concerned. He's made some great house blends that have been very good sellers for him. So I'll probably do some videos over there from time to time. This one is a Virginia Syrian latakia. And I really enjoy it. It's got the pronounced latakia without being too heavy. I know I'm kind of going against what is called heavy English. I really feel like that's more along the lines of how the latakia stands out in the blend, but it's a very, very smooth, not over the top spicy. And for those that like a good latakia, and you're like me, you kind of like them in the winter time and the fall, you might try something like this in the springtime. I can definitely see myself enjoying this well into the spring. You know, definitely be stocking up on this for coming up fall. And as much as I enjoy the spring, I can't wait for the fall to get here again. I know we just kind of come out of the cold snap, but that's one of my favorite seasons. So yeah, piping and camping recommended this blend, and I'm glad he did. Because you know, latakia blends are not ones that I go to on a regular basis. Like I said, they're kind of a seasonal thing for me. So I don't order them regularly. In fact, I've got some Sutliff Voodoo Queen sitting in my cellar. It's been there a couple of years now, simply for the fact that it's not my everyday go-to all year long. And with this one, it's probably not gonna last for the spring, because I do enjoy this. I enjoy the heavy latakia qualities, you know, with the lightness of the Virginias that are not hindered in any way by the latakia. And it kind of brings a kind of a sweet, you know, creamy finish, especially in the retro-hale. So that's in short what I think about this blend. I've never been much of a blend reviewer, just simply for the fact that I think, you know, I've enjoyed so many blends, and you know, because of that, you know, I'm not really qualified to point out faults I may find in a blend. I'll always find some way, if I do find something that's lacking in this way or that I can do something with it, let it age for a little while, you know, try to dry it out if I feel like it's too moist, and moisturize it, wet it down a little bit if I feel like it's too dry. There's a lot of things you can do. And but this one is actually, now that I brought that up, the moisture content, it is just about the way I like it, straight out of the bag. And I parted it directly into this jar and put a good tight seal on it. It definitely doesn't crumble and crackle like some blends you get that are just way too dry. And it also doesn't goop together. You can even see some of the, if you can see it in the camera, some of the variety of just the different colors you get in there. You can see those Virginias in there. So I really like this blend. And I'm using this pipe as one that I'm going to enjoy a lot of latakias in. The only pipes, the few pipes in my rotation that I use for latakia are about the only ones that I segregate blends in, just because I'm not afraid of ghosting another pipe or anything. There is just something about a good latakia ghosting that just really enriches the pipe that you're going to use specifically for those blends. And it's got a good sized bowl, as you can see. And when I do smoke a latakia, it's not one of my quick smokes, or if I'm just have a few minutes here or there to put some in to snuff it out when I'm done and finish it later. I usually like to take my time and just enjoy what the latakia is, because it's not that I dislike anything about the latakias. It's just they have such a place for me in the cooler weather. And this is kind of a compact design, and latakias tend to burn a little bit cooler than other blends. So I thought it would be at home in a shorter stem pipe like this, with a good sized bowl to enjoy the blend for a while. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm sitting right here by this tree. I hope I got my slacks on and everything like that. I'm probably going to get dirty, but I don't really care because it's such a beautiful day, and I just thought I'd get out here, pull up some dirt, and sit by this tree and enjoy a pipe with you. And to talk a little bit about the upcoming BlendShare. I mentioned it a little bit in my last video. It is definitely going to be one that I feel is appropriate coming into springtime. It's going to be based on pouch blends, and being a channel dedicated to OTC blends, and not specifically all the time, but being that I have an affinity for those OTC blends, I really should have done this one first. But this BlendShare idea kind of came up in the middle of doing a video. I did not plan it out this way. We'll let this jet go by. We have a naval base and a naval air base not too far from us, and we have a fighter jet going over, so we're gonna let this guy pass. Okay, I think he's gone far enough away that it's not gonna impede on the sound too much. Anyways, like I was saying, it was decided at spur of the moment while I was doing a video, just kind of entered my brain, and so I just put it out there. And it's not one that I took time to consider what I was going to do. All the considerations and planning came after that, and it was just at a time when I was looking for some blends to try out, and wanted to get some recommendations from you guys. And I'm glad it worked out the way it did. I'm glad that I'm able to do a series like this, and to kind of keep that going. So we're going to start with OTCs in the second one that's going to be coming up after I get through these. Now this is the third one. of 6 in total, and I opened it up for 10 slots. So there were 4 potential recipients of free tobacco that didn't take the advantage. So I'm just kind of letting you know, putting it out there. It's still going to be a while because I want to finish these first and get videos down and dedicated to these blends and the people in the community that recommended these blends. So it's going to be based on pouch tobaccos, and I'm going to do another video kind of laying everything out. This is just kind of a little bit of talk, before it gets going. But like before, make sure it's in stock, and in this case, it's got to be something that's sold in a pouch, and that's really it. There's a lot of a few pouch varieties that they do sell in bulk. They do sell in tins, but this one is just going to be typical 1.5 ounce pouches, and I know some of them go up from there. I've seen 1.75 and things like that. I'm not going to be a stickler on that kind of thing, but just the pouch blend, the codger blends, the ones that have been with us for ages, and just kind of enjoy those. I think that's going to be a good one to do coming into this time of year. So just get your thinking caps on, and there, as I said before, there is going to be a little something added to this one, and I'm going to break that out in another video. Until that next video, I just want to wish everybody all the best, and stay positive through all of this stuff going on. It's not something that I've decided, and I'm not going to let it ruin my way of life. This is going to pass, and we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together. So stay positive and keep your bowls warm.